Hey everybody, my name's Alex. I'm the Unscale Reviewer. Today I want to talk a bit about Scaletrains. So if I jump back to 2023, I picked up a rivet counter GEVO. I did a review on that. And then 2 of the operator GEVOs. Did a review on those. Go check those out. You'll see the same details that I'm talking about here. But I do have some updated information on them. I also got a -9 Santa Fe patch unit that had been weathered from the factory. And then I got a C40-9 in the NS paint scheme. I had planned to have that unit consist with one of these when I could get my hands on it. This is a C39-8. At that time, I had an issue with this particular operator GEVO right from out of the box. It wouldn't run. Opened it up, found a bad wire, did some soldering, got it fixed, put back together. The other GEVO ran for a little bit and blew the decoder. Ended up sending that back to Scaletrains to get it fixed, and got it back, and we'll talk about it in a moment. Excuse me. The other one I had was probably a unit similar to this one. That is my rivet counter GEVO. When I got it, it was making a terrible squealing noise when you would come to a stop, and for some reason the prime mover sounds would just slowly get quieter, and then finally just you couldn't turn them back on. Did some work with them, determined that the prime mover was this auto off feature. We changed that in the decoder, and they thought that maybe it was just a bushing that needed to be worn in with the squealing it was causing. Never went away, so I did some more testing, and I just ended up disconnecting one of the leads to the speaker, and sure enough, the squealing went away. So there was an issue with the sound file or the soundboard. Not really sure. They just wanted me to send it back in. Ended up getting this unit back, which I don't think is the same one they sent me. And all was good for a little while. Did a review on it, really liked it. It was a great unit. Let's fast forward a little bit. That operator is the only one that I have been able to keep running. The GEVO that's right there had an issue, same as the 2-9s, the C40 as well as the Santa Fe patch unit, where they would just stop running. And what I would do to fix it is I would have to kind of jump the motor with my DC board. I would just put it on the main line, run DC power to it, jump it so it would start moving, and then it would go back to working for a while. What I come to figure out is eventually there must be a dead spot in the motor, and if you should happen to stop in that dead spot, it requires a big jolt of power to get it past it. The other operator GEVO I had has since burned up 2 boards. Early 24, I burned up the lock pilot board, so I swapped it out and it went back to using it for a while. And then early this year, it burned up the second board. I was like, all right, I need to reach out to Scaletrains. So I did that, and I mentioned these rivet counter the GEVO and the 2-9s that I was having this issue, and they said there's something wrong. They shouldn't be doing that, and I would agree. All of my other GEVOs run flawlessly. All my other -9s run flawlessly all the time. So turns out if you buy things from Scaletrains, you have a 2-year warranty. If you get it from somewhere else, you need to register that. I didn't know that. So this unit was not covered under warranty. They were sure it was probably a bad motor, so they wanted $30 for motor and roughly $50 for, the work being done. For $80, I just went and found a motor online, bought it, and put it in myself. And it does, in fact, look like it was the motor. I've been running this for a good period of time now, and it's been very reliable. So what it comes down to is probably really bad quality control coming out of Scaletrains circa 23. I know that there's some other issues as well, because what I would consider end game engines, the turbine engines, this unit, which is the AB series, the B unit had a bad decoder. Ended up having to send it back, get it worked on. Got it back. Definitely was an issue with the sound file. I ended up having to put a different sound file on there and mess with some settings and got it to run really good after that. But yeah, factory, this had issues. Now since then, and I need to do a review on these, this has been an excellent engine. The other thing about it is it's highly detailed and it's gorgeous. And excuse the paint on my fingers, was working on another project behind me. Let's see if I can get the focus to work here. If you look at the detail on the trucks, it's just next level. And the paint that they get on them is semi-metallic and really does look good. Matter of fact, the new Union Pacific stuff like the GP30 and their SD40s also does this and looks really nice. Now in the marketing photos, the same trucks would have been on this. But these are resin colored and look plasticky and are subpar. Again, very expensive engine, end game quality stuff here. And the other thing that's kind of frustrating is the engine portion of this has these resiny plastic crap look to them, but the tender has properly painted trucks. So that's a little bit frustrating. So which brings me to the current time and the issues that I'm currently having with Scaletrains. So I picked up several models for review, and I've had an SD40-2 for a while now. I think it's been approaching a year since it was released. I really wanted something Milwaukee Road on my layout. I'm kind of that area, and I thought the lease patch job one was an interesting model, and I wanted to run it with my Atlas GP40-2. So I bought that unit to run with it, and out of the box it was terrible slow speed performance. It wasn't even close to that Atlas, and ended up doing a bunch of searching online, see if anybody else was running into these issues, and I came across a post on a video, and I'm not even sure, I just screenshotted the comment at the time, that CV54 and CV52 were incorrect and to adjust the settings. I did that, and all of a sudden the unit was functioning really good. Not perfect slow speed performance, but definitely in consist more than capable of being a really good slow speed performer. Not necessarily the best puller, which we went through the other night in my live stream, but boy does it look good, and it's reliable, and the sounds are really nice. It's just a good model. So I picked up two more SD40-2s, as well as an SD40T2. And me, in the future, insert the video of the T2 right here. I didn't buy this one from anyone in particular. I was trying to come up with models from different places. So I picked this one up on eBay, which may or may not have been a reseller. I don't know, but it was the normal price that you'd buy one for. But because I could not provide a, like wholesaler dealer invoice to Scaletrains, it wasn't covered under warranty. And these models aren't even a year old yet, so I don't know. I understand it's policy, but if the models aren't even a year old yet and you're buying it new from someone, I think they should have stood behind the unit. So I ended up having to send that one back, and I haven't replaced it. But it didn't work right from the factory. You'd push it onto the layout, and it would trigger short protection. So bad quality control there. And then, which brings me to the other SD40-2s. The Union Pacific one that I've had on my layout, I ended up changing the same settings that I did on my ex-Milwaukee Road, just matched them, and it was a pretty good runner out of the box after I did that. It seemed like it was very jumpy right out of the box. And for the price you pay with these, they should be really good right out of the box. The Gevos are that way. When I got that C40-9, it was that way. The two C39-8s that I've got were that way. they just run really good slow speed. I don't know why these SD40-2s aren't that way. The GP30s that I have are definitely that way. And the one that's running up top here, that's actually a DC unit. I have a lock pilot board on order for it, just isn't here yet. Couldn't bring myself to pay that extra for the sound unit when there's no prime mover. It's just a horn and a bell and some annoying compressor that kicks on, so I'm going to run that one as a DCC unit. But I bought it to run with this CSX unit that I got right here. So this is my CSX SD40-3 right here. And I've got some big issues with that, and I was hoping maybe someone in the community could help me out before I reached out to Scaletrains. Like I said, the Union Pacific one ran pretty well once I adjusted those two CVs. I put this one on the layout, and it was all over the place. It didn't seem like the functions wanted to function properly. And the motor control was all over the place. So the first thing I figured I better do is reflash the sound file. I've ran into this before. Sometimes you just get bad sound files. They weren't properly installed, and your engine will go back to working. What I'm running into is there's no Scaletrain specific SD40-3 sound file for that unit listed on their website. And when I look on the ESU website, there isn't one either. And why that's important is because they already have the functions mapped, all of the default stuff set to the proper thing, horn, bell, that type of stuff. So I flashed the standard SD40-3 circa 2024 sound file onto this, and yes, the functions are all over the place. So I spent some time, got my lights working, getting them properly mapped, all that type of stuff. But I still cannot get slow speed performance out of that engine. I basically copied all of the proper settings from all these other units, refresh rate, that type of stuff, and then I can use the normal speed matching CVs, and it seems to match up very well with the rest of my engines. But the back EMF, I cannot get it to tune properly. It is very bad on takeoff, and it's jerky at slow speed. So I was hoping if anybody had one of these that they got that ran good from the factory, if they could send me a detailed CV list so I could copy and paste it on this unit and see if that fixes some of it. Otherwise, I'm going to reach out to Scaletrains and see if they'll do something on it. I did pick that up at Lombard, so it should be under warranty, but I just cannot get it to run at all decent at slow speed, and I find that to be frustrating for the price of these models. I don't really want to leave on a bad point. I'm not trying to get on the bad side of Scaletrains. I just really wish they would get their quality control back up where it needs to be. There's certain issues with certain engines that I think could be fixed with just properly flashing good firmware, or maybe a better motor in some of these units. Because the C39-8s that I've got, they came from the factory absolutely flawlessly, and they're like more circa 24 on their build dates, and so I think maybe they got some of the bad motor situation figured out, and they pull like animals. Can't wait to do the review on those. They've been excellent, and it seems like all their new Gevos, people have been having really good luck with them, and we know those are good pullers and they're really good slow speed performance. I'm a little frustrated too. It seems like the GP30s are really good. Out of the box, really good slow speed control. Not the best pullers, but they're light. It's just kind of part of it. But I'm just not figuring out what's going on with these SD40s and SD40 T2s. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So please, if anybody has the SD40-3, that's a good working one, I would love your CV list just so I could give it a try. I would like to do a review on these in the near future, so hard to review an engine that you can't really get back to stock configuration. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Bye now.